things are happening. They are happening fast and furiously here in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm Nick Roush with Adam Luckett and Drew Franklin. And we had a press conference today, Luckett, where Mark Stoops spoke for 45 minutes. A lot to chew on there. I'm not really sure where to start other than, I guess, offensive coordinator, because our fearless leader, Matt Jones, who you can see right over my shoulder, he tweeted out last night that a hire could happen as soon as Monday or Tuesday. And today, Stoops, I don't want to say pushed back on it, but he just said, I'm talking to a lot of people. So we could hear something soon. Where do you currently stand and think this might go?
Nick, you need to let Mark Stoops do his job. No speculation. None. Just sit here and wait. So that was a big message, I think, regarding that. I think they're trying to maybe push back on they don't want any tampering charges coming. So that was a big one, I think, regarding that. It sounds like they got some transfers in their back pocket, right? And so it's just when they're going to, announce. I'm assuming they're probably going to host some this weekend on campus. And so that's going to happen. It's, that's coming down the chimney, it seems like. And then office coordinator, I mean, I don't know. We still don't know any names, right? We know no names. The only name we know is Liam Cohen. And the thing with Cohen is he's got this NFL contract that they just don't get out of him, right? I mean, you look and find any guy that came, like Todd Monken, who was at Georgia, was a Browns coordinator and then became Georgia's offense coordinator. He was hired after the season. All these hires usually happen after the season's over. And so that if Cohen's the guy, you're going to have to play this weird kind of balancing act game. And like Graham Mertz goes in the portal. Matt's hearing that he's one of the guys Kentucky's looking at quarterback. How do they handle that? Do they add a quarterback before offense coordinator before quarterback?
Don't ask.
Told you, don't ask. Just let him do his job. But guess what? We're going to have another big board this week, 3.0, and we're going to talk about some of these potential additions. It's just a weird kind of window we're in right now with all the change going on.
Yeah, Stoops did elaborate a little bit on what he wants in his new offensive coordinator. Part of it was the ability to adaptability, to be able to adapt to the personnel. And he did not take the direct shot at Rich Scangarello by saying adapt to SEC defenses. But one he did not like, one thing he will not have in next year's offense is taking 37 seconds to run a play, which, Drew, I think that's something we can all get behind.
That's a thinly veiled shot, if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. I didn't know it was possible to be too slow for Mark Stoops. I mean, Mark Stoops football is usually – tick, 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 let his defense rest and get stops. But he somehow found a coach that made him want to go faster. He did a good job of not calling out Scangarello outside of that one little indirect jab there. Said he still has a lot of respect for him, and he won't go too in depth on why he made that decision. But I did find it interesting that Stoops managed to find a coordinator that is hitting the brakes too hard on offense, and that's part of the reason moving forward.
Well, one jab that I wish would have been more direct was at Scott Satterfield, right? Like he said, we had a good competitive competition. What was it like? Just say, Scott, why'd you have to go? Come on. Did
Stoops forget the results of the last 3 years? Because nothing about that was competitive.
They've had a good, healthy, competitive rivalry.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Very healthy. Stoops was eating in every game. He's going to miss him.
Yeah, that was a Kentucky eats first situation.
The one thing, too, that he wasn't direct about, where I'm like, what are you waiting on, is his quotes about who's going to call plays. Because it's pretty clear it's going to have to be Scott Woodward in this bowl game. But he wanted to give a shout-out to Mark Perry and Josh Estiswa. And what is it? Vince is the leadership person in this? What are we doing here?
Yeah, be part of the leadership of the offensive planning. Sounds to me like they got some kind of weird think tank going on, going up against maybe the number one defense in college football. So it seems like the under is probably going to be safe unless things get wonky.
What's it down to now?
31.5. I put my hard-earned money on it today.
I just hope people are ready for this migraine bowl 2.0. I mean, it's just going to be two teams butting heads for 4 quarters. I think Freddie kind of put it best. Both Kentucky and Iowa have been strangers to the end zone this year, and they're going up against good defenses on both sides. It's just going to be a migraine watching this football game, and that's just how it is. And offensively, it's who knows what they're going to do, what it's going to look like, who's going to play. I mean, we're still getting guys leaving Kentucky, and so who knows what it all is going to look like here. Will Levis, we don't know an answer on that. We think we know the answer, but Mark Stoops said he doesn't have the answer yet, and that's just how we are. But I do think he kind of pointed out that college experience is going to be important here, both with the running back coach hire and with offensive coordinator, kind of just alluding to understanding what they're getting into. Not necessarily SEC experience, but definitely Power 5 experience. I think is going to be important for both these candidates. And he's pretty much told us he has a running backs coach. After telling us what he's looking for, he told us he already found it. And that they haven't announced it. And the running backs coach is going to be the special teams coordinator. Is what he said. Well, what he kind of alluded to. So the question is, does that come after? Is that guy on a college staff right now, and it's going to come after signing day, or is that guy on the NFL staff and it's going to come in January? I mean, that's what we'll have to wait and see with that.
He also kind of took another shot at us. He was really just throwing bars.
I feel like it was a personal attack. I feel like he was coming at Adam Luckett today. Coming at Adam Luckett and Nick Roush.
He said, sometimes you all get it right and sometimes you don't. And I guess he was trying to say, like, I know who the running backs coach is and you don't, Adam Luckett. Nice try with your running back coach hot board.
I mean, if Mark Stoops is daring me to get in the deep cuts, I can do it. I'm not afraid. I can do some digging. I can make some calls. I can find some stuff out.
Luckett will play in the mud.
Is this a dare? Is this a dare? Is he calling me out to see what I got in the chamber? That's what it felt like.
I was excited to see Stoops sit down and say, I have nothing written down. I'm going off the cuff, which never happens. And I thought that was a slippery slope. We didn't get as much as I thought we'd get out of him, but that's a dangerous game for him to play because he's usually very calculated and quiet.
To that point, there was about 3 questions where he just kind of sat there, waited, composed his thoughts, and gave an answer. Like, I asked him about when he introduced Rich Gangarello, who's pretty much like, first time when I hired Liam, I did it by myself. I didn't want any output. Second time, it was very a collaborative approach. I asked him, which time are you going to this? And he gave me very much a non-answer on that. I still need to go back and watch that, but it seemed like he was trying to be very careful with what he said and what he put out there today. And he wanted to make us know that there are multiple candidates for this offensive coordinator job. Yes. It's not just one candidate.
It's not just Liam Cohen.
Even though we haven't heard any names other than Liam Cohen. Which is not coming out. We're not making that up. That has been heard by people, but still, we're just trying to, figure out. I guess it's kind of. I'm guessing the stuff with Cohen, man. It's just if he is the guy, when can he join? How do you get him over here? How does that all work? Will the Rams let him leave early? I just don't know how that's going to work. That's been my kind of worry with that hire the whole time. How do you get a quarterback? How do you get him away from the Rams? And that's something they're just going to have to balance, I think, here over the next few weeks.
Before we wrap up, the transfer portal did open today. I don't want to say it's been underwhelming. I thought we would see a lot more guys just commit, right? But you've only seen that. There was a California that went
Jerkovich.
Jerkovich went quick. But for the most part, John Young is the only guy on Kentucky side that we've seen hop in a little unexpected. But Kentucky's kind of portal recruiting over him, if you will. Elsewhere, the Wildcats are Ray Davis, the Vanderbilt running back who got 1,000 yards this year, put up a $129 against the Cats. He said he got offered from Kentucky. Cats also offered a cornerback from Alabama. Is it Kyrie Jackson?
Kyrie Jackson, former junior college guy. I believe he'll be a super senior next year. Never really played for Alabama. Yeah, he's got an offer from Kentucky and about 8-9 other Power 5 schools today.
Yeah, so we're gonna have all of that. Oh, and Bo Allen, are we bringing back Bo, Drew, BBB, triple Bs.
Hey, I'll root for wherever Bo ends up, whether it's here, which is probably unlikely, or wherever. But good to see Bo back in the portal to get back to a higher level of football where he can see what he can do.
And we need to talk about Stoops' kind of apology, I guess, during the bowl game.
Said sorry, can't do nothing about it. Like,
Yeah.
Oops.
but I know you guys.
My only problem with that is like, I'm sorry, but there's going to be enough fans to go around. But we shouldn't be in that situation. Like, it shouldn't even be on the table. And basically, he said he wants the bowl game on New Year's Eve because they don't want to spend. Right, what I took it as so they can have a break for Christmas, right? So they don't have to be practicing on Christmas. It's kind of how I took that, plus all the other recruiting work they have to do. So that's fine, but like we shouldn't have that dynamic. It should not, like, why is the basketball game on that day when there's bowl games, when there's two potential bowl games Kentucky could be in, one much more likely Music City Bowl than the other. It's just a tough situation that they're in.
And part of that too, like it is, he's like, it's almost like he doesn't want to waste time on a bowl game, like prepping for it, when all of this other stuff is more important for the future of the program. You know,
yeah. I mean, we need to pick up signing day, and we need to kick it to February.
Yeah,
like get Max Duffy over here and kick the ever loving out of it and get it to February. It makes things so much difficult. Like we've jam packed December for no real reason with everything going on. We don't need to have everything in December, but that's just where we're at right now. And so it's just getting through this and finding an offensive coordinator, hiring people. But it sounds like, I don't know, we're gonna play the waiting game here for a little bit longer on everything.
It's a wild time right now. There's a lot of things going on. We'll hopefully get this uploaded before something else crazy happens. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now. I'm just worried that something that I wrote isn't going to be outdated in like 2 hours. But luckily, everything's so crazy that our website just crashed. So like, I mean, this is back like Rick Pitino got fired and we can't get the website to work. Drew, I don't know how well you remember that day. I'm sure you remember it fondly, but I remember just like hitting save as often as I could to try to make sure that my precious whatever I wrote did not fall apart, because that was good old-fashioned KSR chaos.
Oh, listen, I could write a book on website crashes. Most of the stress in my life has come from that damn website crashing. When we won the title in 2012, I'm in the back of the Superdome in New Orleans and the website's crashed. And, we got T-shirts to sell, stories to put up, and it's an hour of me hitting refresh and on the phone with stupid host. So, I mean, there's been plenty of big moments that we've lost to website crashes. It's been good recently. I haven't had one in several years, but it shows how busy these times are right now that we're back to an old school, got to get that hamster wheel churning behind the scenes to get it working again.
I'm just going to miss Scott, guys.
Oh, yeah, Roush, before we go, Luckett and I were talking before you hopped on. We were both live Kentucky roll call listeners this morning when you just started screaming. I was working on our morning post for the site. I thought like the Cohen news had dropped, and part of me, I was excited, but also like, crap, this is going to be a lot of work, and I've only got like 30 minutes to do it. And then, of course, it ends up being Satterfield, which shocked everyone. But we got both of us got the breaking news from you screaming this morning at TJ about something big happening.
It's one of the most shocking, like, I don't know. I was talking with Luckett too. There's been some weird stuff that have happened with Louisville coaches leaving. You had John L. Smith. The news broke that he was going to Michigan State at halftime of a bowl game. Like that was awkward as hell.
Bobby in Auburn.
Yeah. He was like on a plane in the middle of the bowl game. I mean, there's been some weird stuff. But this was just out of nowhere. And also Louisville's just got to be thanking the heavens because they're like, oh my God, we don't have to pay this guy. We can just go bring Brom home. Like this is easy peasy lemon squeezy. And now, man, Christmas at the Roushes is just it's gonna be awkward. But it is gonna be fun. I do worry that both the Kentucky coaches and the Louisville coaches think that I'm going to be a mole for one another, which is just like I'm kind of in a no-win situation here. So, I'm just gonna keep doing me. And it's going to be really funny when I show up to a game at Cardinal Stadium or like I'm on the sidelines or start tweeting like, oh, if they hated me before, they're really going to hate me once he's over there.
It is a weird dynamic you're going to have. Unless they go Bobby 3.0. I'm not giving up on that. I prayed this morning that we get 3.0. But if it's Brom, you're going to be in a weird spot.
Yeah, and he's going to make him good. So there is one good positive to Satterfield going to Cincinnati. Not a good recruiter going up there, so you don't have to worry about Ohio. Now, some of the local stuff, if Jeff does end up back at Louisville, it's going to get a lot more contentious, right? Especially, look at the Cutter Boley recruitment, like down the pipe, like that could turn into a huge three-way battle between Tennessee, Louisville, and Kentucky for the Lexington kids. So it's the one thing that if this does, which I don't know any scoop, I'll text him after he wins, say congrats. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a done deal. Go ahead, Brom's your next head coach. But it is going to make it more fun, right? It's so much fun watching Scott go
I love it. I mean, that was my best 4-year run of that rivalry.
But it is fun when it's actually it actually feels competitive, right? And there's more trash talk. This will bring the rivalry. It'll make it more like a rivalry instead of Scott just crying about L's down all the time. We're going to get a little bit more juice in this Kentucky football series. Because really, let's face it, this is Louisville's biggest win in 7 years as Louisville fans, period.
You're already doing the Brom spin. We wanted Satterfield forever. I enjoy winning by 40 every year with no hope for them. In Vegas giving us 3-point spreads when it should be a 21-point spread. No, I don't want Brom. I wanted Satterfield to stay. Kentucky's the real loser in this, then Cincinnati, and Louisville actually won this deal.
How's that fridge holding up for you?
It's doing great. I need an extension cord before I can plug it in, though, so it's just sitting there. I'd say I'm actually, after this, running over to Lowe's so we can get some power to it.
Well, we need to run on out of here, but who knows? We might be back with you tomorrow talking about a Liam Cohen hire. That window for these openings closes Monday and Tuesday, so that's the earliest Kentucky could. Who knows what things are like on the other side of this with the contracts, but we might be back here tomorrow talking about new transfer portal additions. Who knows? We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants here.
For me, it's names. If we hear a name or two, then maybe it could be someone else. But if we get through these next couple of days and we don't hear any names, it's just figuring out when. To me, at least, that just seems what it is. But by the waiting game, that's really the hardest part in any coaching search is just the waiting you have to do, and so that's just kind of where we're at right now.
Well, I guess I'll see y'all soon. See you later.
Bye.